Are you a contractor that operates with integrity and honesty, but tired of having to compete with the corner cutters and frauds in your market? Well, this is the conversation for you. My name is AJ. I'm the co-founder and CEO of ProLine. And in this interview, I sit down with Randy Hurtado of the Good Contractors List, the guaranteed backed platform that helps homeowners find contractors they can trust and helps the good guys win. Let's get into it.
Here at the International Roofing Expo, and I am joined by Randy Hurtado with Good Contractors List. And thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Randy. Why don't you, for those that don't know, why don't you just give a quick rundown on Good Contractors List, what it is,
Yep.
What you do with contractors.
So the Good Contractors List is the first guaranteed back platform that started in 2011. We originally were started in DFW market to address the problem of bad contractors screwing homeowners. Our founder thought there had to be a better way to connect homeowners with the good guys that, and to us, a good guy is somebody who wakes up every morning wanting to serve their customer, wanting to run a business, a profitable business, but they want to serve their customer well and not screw them. And they want to better their industry, you know, all the things that a good guy does. And so John started the company in 2011 with this crazy concept, and that was, if they meet our criteria, I'm going to back every job they do with a monetary value guarantee. And that's going to not only help give the customer comfort of knowing that if this contractor in front of me isn't everything they said they are, and they don't do exactly what the contract says, but there's going to be a third party that will protect me with actual money, not just an A+ rating or some platitude, but instead real hard, cold hard cash. And then from the contractor perspective, being part of a safe community of contractors that they can point homeowners to say, we're a member of this group, we've been vetted by them, and they believe in us so much that they're willing to put their money where their mouth is. So if we're not everything that we say we're going to be, then they will come in behind us and make it right. And it's been a very successful program since 2011. We've backed more than $5 billion worth of jobs with our contractors.
Wow.
And that's just in the DFW market. I've been a customer. Many know me as the COO of and co-owner of DT Roofing and the DT companies. We've been on the Good Contractors List since 2019. And I saw such great benefit with our sales team that we approached John, the founder, back in 2020 and said, why is this not nationwide? And his answer was simple. I didn't build it to be nationwide. I don't have the staff to support nationwide. I agree the problem exists everywhere, but this is what I have. Well, continuous conversations happened, and long story short, John lives in our community and saw what we were able to do with our DT brand, taking it from sub $2 million in 2016 to all of our companies clearing about $50 million last year in revenue. He watched that happen in our community. So he approached me and said, I'd like you to come on with the Good Contractors List and take this thing nationwide. I believe we can do it. And I appreciated the faith in it. We have an amazing team that supports our clientele. We're growing our sales team. And in the last 120 days since I've come on, we have now grown into 22 more states outside of the DFW market, and it's growing daily.
Wow, that's phenomenal. And so the goal is all 50 states?
All 50 states. And then once we've conquered, so the one thing unique about the Good Contractors List, one of the things that's unique is we don't just focus on the roofing space. We actually have all 50 trades on our list.
Oh, wow.
So if a homeowner is looking for a flooring company, or if they're looking for a concrete company or a roofer or a remodeler, they're on there. Now, as we mature each market, more and more contractors will be on the list. So outside of the DFW market, it's kind of a two-staged approach. The first stage is any contractor outside of DFW, they use the guarantee as a closing tool, as a trust guarantee for the homeowners that they're talking to, which we've had amazing results with that. And then for those in established markets like DFW, there's also an element of leads that come to them from the list, because homeowners now, after 14 years in DFW, they've become accustomed to going to the list and saying, I'm not hiring anybody if they're not on this list, because every contractor has that guarantee.
Yeah.
So in those cases, when somebody reaches out to one of those contractors, they get the lead. We don't charge anything for the lead. It's just they're part of the list, they get it. So our pricing model is fixed. We don't charge for a percentage for this $25,000 guarantee, and it's for the job. It's not just theft of deposit or anything like that. It's for the job itself. And that's another differentiator between us and other platforms that are similar to this.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What do you think? I'm really curious what your criteria is, because obviously, if you're backing their jobs with actual cash, like the value of the job, so that puts a lot of liability in the line. You guys got to be careful who you let on this platform.
Oh, sure.
So what is that criteria you guys are following to vet contractors?
The craziest thing is that when I tell people that criteria, they say that's it. And yet here we are with a good number of contractors that just don't fit it.
Yeah.
So they have to be in business for at least 3 years. All of this, by the way, is scientific. And what I mean by that is it's using the scientific method of try something, see if it doesn't work. And we've had 14 years to figure this out. So this blueprint that we're now taking nationwide is not a startup. This is something we know works.
No.
And that's why our contractors that are joining the list are almost seeing immediate success with it. So they have to be in business at least 3 years. They've paid, at that point, most people have paid the dumb tax. You know, they've figured out how to read a P&L report. They've figured out how to pay their bills. And so they have to have a good online reputation. They have to have a website that's professional, that a homeowner can peruse and understand exactly what services they offer. And then finally, the owners themselves have to go through an extensive criminal and financial background check. Now, the financial background check is more along the lines of, are they somebody who perpetually starts businesses, runs them into the ground, leaving a wake of customers behind them? We're not looking at their bank account, but we are looking at, do they pay their bills? You know, things like that, obviously, because that's a red flag for us, right? Because if they're not paying their bills, then they might be a claim in the future.
Yep.
The most frequent thing that we'll hear from contractors as they're going through the onboarding process is, you're never going to get a claim from me. And our mindset is, that's what we're banking on.
Yeah.
But the homeowner doesn't know that. And so that's why we're backing you.
Right.
So the homeowner understands if something were to happen, because it has happened. In 14 years, we've had claims.
Yeah.
But it's not frequent enough that it's a big concern.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, those are the requirements to be on the list. Yet in the DFW market, there's about 10,000 roofing companies. As example for roofing, there's only about 120 roofers on the list in DFW. So a little bit over 1%. And so that tells you, now not every roofer has tried to get on the list, I'll give you that much, but that tells you that we have criteria that sometimes it's just not going to work out. And a lot of them they're just not old enough yet. They haven't been in business 3 years. And so what we'll do is we'll put their birth date on our calendar.
Yeah.
Say, hey, when you turn 3, we're going to have a birthday party and we're going to reach out. And if everything's good, then we're going to get you on the list. So we're following all that. But there's 41,000. Our solution is based off of the zip codes that you work in.
Yeah.
There's 41,000 zip codes in America, and we have 50 trades to get on it. So there's a lot of contractors on there.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got to... Yeah, what I was gonna say, the 3 year, that typically is probably the hardest to hit,
because
and then
at least with roofing, the Small Business Administration says that 96% of roofing companies go out of business within the first 5.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for a successful company to make it to that 3 year mark.
Right.
And so that tells us a lot about the company right out of the gate when they've already made it 3 years.
What would you say the second hardest thing on the list?
Second out of what we find is probably the financial side. Like we'll find that, they're not paying their bills with their distributors or what have you. It doesn't mean that just because somebody has a credit limit or a credit line with them, but if they're systemically not paying their bills and stuff like that, then that could be an issue. That's specifically in the roofing. We see it a little bit different in each trade. Like, for example, the smaller trades like painting, I don't call it small because of anything other than the ticket number. But painting, plumbing, electrical, like the MEPs, their biggest issue oftentimes outside of being in business long enough is the reviews, because they're not review centric in their business. Like the plumber doesn't go, okay, I've unclogged your toilet, make sure you give us a review. So part of being with the Good Contractors list is we're coaching these companies too and saying, hey, this is what works. You don't think it may be outside of the norm for your business, but if you really want to stand out outside of just being on the list, like do these things and you're going to show up on your SEO. Another factor that contractors really like with the Good Contractors list that I implemented when I came on as the CLO is we have a contractor resource center that we're building out. You guys know because you're part of it. And we're building out a trusted network of contractors in every space, in every trade that, let's say you're a flooring company and you're really, really good at putting on flooring, but you stink at bookkeeping, right? Or so we have bookkeepers on our contractor resource center that we've pre-vetted that we recommend to our contractors to work with to get that part of their business worked out. Or maybe they're terrible at, maybe their material prices are super high. Well, we've partnered with the likes of like Van Boxel, for example. And I'm using roofing because we're at a roofing, convention, but we have them for all trades. Yeah. So we've partnered with Sales Rabbit. We partnered with RoofLink, ProLine. ProLine and RoofLink we specifically chose because they're known for being CRMs that are highly malleable, very flexible, staying in line with the technology that's coming out, like AI and what have you. And so we didn't want to just jump in the bed with the pay-to-plays, And if that offends somebody here, I'm sorry. It's just a reality of what we're, in my company, I don't use one of the big dogs. I use a company that, like most people know, I use RoofLink, but I am a fan of ProLine too. And that's the reason why you guys were one of the two that we reached out to for this. And so that's one of the areas that we're constantly building so that our contractors have the ability to go in and find an area where they stink at. Maybe they stink at SEO or they stink at marketing. We have solutions in there for them to go and take a look at. And those aren't pay to play either. We don't charge those companies to, as you guys know, we don't charge you to be on that. It's a kind of an invitation. We trust you, we vetted you, and we want you for our contractors.
Right. Yeah. Because if your goal is to have the good contractors, then you also want them to be working with good vendors.
That's right.
So it's got to go be top to bottom.
And not just the vendors and I'm not dogging on the corporate companies, but the reality is the smaller the service, the more they tend to give their customers, like I get amazing service from the companies that I work with at DT Roofing, and none of them are really, really big companies. Why? Because they still remember that customer service is essential to stay in business. They don't forget those basic principles.
Yeah. It's so critical. And the thing that frustrates me or that is interesting to me is I don't think it's ever something you can leave behind. It's not that the big companies, it's not that they can afford to leave it behind. They've just made a financial decision to not prioritize it anymore.
That's it. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
Because you're always going to have some employees that work for those companies that still get it.
Yeah.
But if it's not part of your DNA, if it's not part of the way you run your business and it's clear, then people see right through it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's priorities. So we greatly appreciate you guys, giving us that vote of confidence.
Oh, no question. No, you guys earned it. No question. It wasn't because I just like John or anything. You guys earned it. I've been a fan. I've been following John since before the CRM, and when he had his other technology, I've always bugged him that, man, I wish you pull that tech out and put it in other CRMs as well because it's really great. That follow up technology that you guys have is absolutely amazing. And I'm a big fan of it. So
that was it was either do that, like have it where you could access it from a lot of other platforms, or build our own CRM. We did just decide to build our own CRM around it, but for better or worse.
I'm always a big fan of seeing ironically, a good guy win. Like I saw John with his company or his roofing company, but he started dabbling with this tech, and many people know I'm a former tech guy. And so I was kind of following that growth. And then when he sold his roofing company to go all in, I was like, just kind of following it in the background. So I'm a big fan of seeing the good guys, make it. I love it. I love pouring into other roofing companies, even though it's counter to what everybody always teaches. Like, you don't tell your competitors your secrets. It's like, I don't have any secrets. Like, what do you want to know? I have probably 2 to 3 dozen roofing company owners that reach out to me frequently. Like, all right, we just had this situation happen. And I don't claim to know everything. There's going to be like, dude, I've never had that happen to me before, but let's work through it together. Yeah. Or, oh yeah, that's coming. So this is what we did. So don't make this mistake. I love seeing good guys win. The guys that are out there screwing their customers, covering deductibles, doing all the weird things, fail. I hope you fail. Because the homeowner is the one that gets screwed in the end.
Right. So the contractor might not in the short run get screwed, but it's the homeowner, and that does come around.
Yeah.
Come back around.
Oh, it absolutely does.
What do you think? How much of that of kind of like the bad contractors? How much of that do you think is them just not caring, and how much of it is maybe a lack of education, a lack of understanding?
I think it's a third thing. I think they got a taste at some point of how easy it was to do it, and then put their energies towards just getting really good at that. And the irony is, if a lot of these guys that are screwing customers, the ones that represent us in the industry really poorly, would take that same energy and just run their business correctly, they'd probably be even more successful than they thought they would be by screwing customers.
Yeah.
Because if you read some of these stories, some of it's brilliant. Like, I don't think like that, so I would have never come up with that. But that is like, there was a lot of thought that went into the way they did that, or that they created this whole thing just to come up this fake alias and all this just to screw all these, like, the effort it took to do that. Just run a legitimate business and you're smashing your market, man. Like, what are you doing?
So maybe lack of patience.
Maybe
they wanted it fast.
They wanted it too quick instead of earning it. Yeah.
But if they had just stuck with it, put that energy, it would have accelerated over time.
Yeah. Like, what's Abernathy's name? Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what I ultimately turned out with him. Like, all of that stuff that he does, it caught up to him. But then what happened? He ended up using his talents for the greater good and working for the FBI until he retired. And him and the guy that was chasing him all those years became great friends and everything. But like, if he would have realized as a young man, I have this talent to be able to figure stuff, and just use that legitimately, he probably would have gotten to where he ultimately ended up way faster. But he did it for that, did it for the bad, and look where it got him. So
yeah, you gotta. That's a important lesson. The patience and like putting your energies towards the right thing. I love that movie.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Fantastic.
Every time I see it on, I gotta watch it. Yeah.
There was I've been reading it's the letters of John D. Rockefeller to his sons. I don't know if you've ever. It's in a book. It's like just a bunch of different letters. And the last letter I read, I've been kind of reading that recently. The last letter I read, he talks about this. He talks about how one of the keys of his success was that, unlike some of his competitors that he ended up beating, he just was always honest and always had integrity in all of his business dealings. And so it's like, he then, once he like, it is a story of like, he got in some sort of tough situation and he needed to go out and get a loan to cover that situation.
His reputation preceded him.
Because of his reputation, he'd always paid back all his debts. He had this reputation of doing the right thing every time. He went to the bank, and even though it was a bad situation, the bank was like, here's the money.
Yep.
And
he's good for it.
Yeah.
Yep. There are no shortcuts in business. There's perceived shortcuts, but they always come back to bite you. You got to do it. You got to play the long game and do it right. And if you do, then you're not one of those statistical companies that's out of business in 5 years. But if you try to just do it, like, you make poor decisions, you make some good money quickly, and then you just start spending on frivolous things or start hiring too quickly, that's then you're going to get exactly what within the 5 years get.
Yeah, you reap what you sow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fantastic. So say a contractor is listening to this and he's like, man, I think I might be a bad contractor. What is your words to that contractor today?
Well,
they want to change.
Yeah, if they truly are repentant, if we're going to start using my Christian roots, then one, they need to find out. Sometimes people are like that truly because they just don't know how to get yourself a coach, get yourself somebody, reach out to me. I'll be glad to pour into you. If you're legit and you want to be legit, I'll help you in any way I can. But if they started going down that path and they've realized, man, that's not the way, just about face and start looking at, read a little bit, learn from the guys that, I have great people in my life professionally that I look up to, like Martin Pettigrew, Jason Reisman, Eric Reno, these guys that when I got into the industry in 2016 to an existing company that had been in business since 2009, I knew nothing about the industry. So I started just either reaching out to these guys or consuming their content or whatever. And I learned how to do it the right way, and they've been greatly successful in their ventures. And so I would just say, look, start finding people that are doing it the way that you would like to do it legitimately, and either reach out or start consuming what they're doing. Imitation is the biggest form of flattery. That's what they say.
Yeah, I mean, and especially in an industry like this, and especially if you're not in the same market as somebody else, then yeah, I mean, there's no downside. Like they're gonna love to share it.
No, I absolutely love going out, and to this day, we've been wildly successful, and I still will go out and I'll find somebody that is where I'd like to be or is handling something a way that I would like to, and I'll go out and I'll meet with them. I'll call them up, get them on, hey, can I fly out and spend a day shadowing you and asking questions? I did that recently. My most recent visit like that was with Dominic Frazier at Frazier Roofing in Georgia.
Nice.
And man, me and my VP flew out there and we learned so much. He does about $7 million a year in revenue more than us. So it wasn't really the revenue part. It was, I really liked his organization, the way he ran it. He's an awesome dude. I'm in a Bible study with him. So I knew he was a solid guy.
Yeah.
A contractor, it's called Contractor. Now I'm going to lie. Anyways, it's a group that a bunch of contractors meet every week and have a Bible study. But I just really liked him, and I really loved how he put so much emphasis on reviews, because he has like 3,000 reviews, and we have about 1,000. And so I'm like, I want to know what he's doing differently and stuff. Yeah. So we went there. We spent a full day with him. I left with nuggets. He actually picked up a few nuggets from us. So go out there and just reach out. If the person doesn't have the time to talk with you, then move on. But there's a lot of guys out there that are willing to pour in to their industry.
Yeah. It's really rewarding. I've started doing some coaching of early stage tech founders.
Oh yeah.
And being able to help them learn from my mistakes, my lessons learned. Yeah. Like it's a really rewarding thing to be able to invest in somebody else.
It's more valuable learning what not to do sometimes than what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can. It's nice to be able to give someone a little bit of a discount on the dumb tax.
That's right. That's right.
And help them.
I like that.
Help them
on the dumb tax.
Yeah, help them overcome that a little bit. But well, how about this? But for the good contractors, we'll wrap it up with this. For the good contractors, what are the top 3 things that they should be paying attention to in 2026 to grow their business?
To grow their business, I would say the top 3 things in no particular order. Pay attention to the technology you're using. I'm not one of these people that says that technology needs to replace everybody, but there is a smart way to run your business. I have 84 employees, and they are relying on my partner and I making wise decisions to run our business efficiently and effectively so that we can not only grow that staff number, but everybody remains with a job, right? Yeah. And so using technology when it makes sense to, either find more opportunity, serve the customer better through the process, is definitely paramount. So if you're doing a bunch of stuff, manually, there's technology out there that can do it. Start looking into that technology. I'd say the second thing would be consider all the traditional routes of finding new clients, but also consider non-traditional routes. I talk a lot about professional relationships with the likes of like realtors, insurance agents, property managers, those type of people. Yeah. They're left alone in most areas, and they're a quarter to a third of our revenue every single year. And so if people would just get really good at building relationships with other professionals that need their service and this is across the board. This isn't just roofing. This is just all industries that are in trades. Then they will see a rapid increase in their revenue. Third, I don't want to say a third just to say a third. I don't have a third.
I love that. That is a great response. Yeah.
I don't have anything specific without just fodder.
Yeah. So I'll take it. Those are two super solid ones. So yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Thank you for yeah, no problem. Yeah. I was gonna get honesty from me.
Oh yeah, I love it. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.